It's the full-time whistle. Rangers are champions of Scotland. They've reclaimed the title from Celtic, and just to rub it in, their crowning moment comes on the ground of their fierce rivals. Rangers' 100th league victory over Celtic has made them champions for the 48th time.
Lambert to Mialbi. There's no time for anything fancy now. That's what you've got to do. Get it up there. Tommy Johnson. Away by Amoruso. Dallas has checked his watch. Here's Van Bronckhorst. It's all over. Last season they were left with nothing. This season they have everything. It's a tremendous treble for Dick Advocat's new look Rangers team. And it really doesn't get much better than this. Rod Wallace, the match winner. It's time for Rangers to bounce up these steps. Lorenzo Amoruso is about to show the watching world that Rangers have won the Scottish Cup and the treble. Won the League Cup. The first trophy of the season goes to Ibrox.
The moments that made the final season of the 20th century one never to be forgotten. Join us as we relive the story of a glorious treble-winning season, the sixth in the proud history of Rangers Football Club. He's mastermind of the Treble collection. Yes, we've words of wisdom from the man who made it all possible, the irrepressible gaffer, Dick Advocat. Celebrate in style in the company of club captain Lorenzo Amoruso as he relaxes and takes stock of a great year in the club's history. Yes, all that, plus Lionel Shaboni on the ups and downs of his first season in Scotland as he puts us in the picture with his views on football and life in general. It's what every Rangers supporter dreamed of, clinching the final championship of the century. But to win it on the ground of their oldest rival Celtic made the victory taste even sweeter.
To actually do it there, you could see what it meant to everybody. And for myself personally to score the first and then the clincher, it was an unbelievable feeling. It's something that I'll remember for a long time.
The opportunity actually fell in our lap. that we were able to win the championship on your archest rival's ground, if you will. It was a great feeling and great reward for the players and certainly the supporters, because they were simply the best, as they say, you know. And it is a cliche, but absolutely fantastic. And it was a fantastic day.
Yet back in August, how could anyone have predicted how the season would go? The old warriors of the 9-in-a-row campaign had left the field empty-handed from the battle to make it 10, the dream finally dying in the closing minute of the last Ibrox League game against Kilmarnock. The despair of the players was there for all to see. They knew the time with Rangers was coming to an end. And it was the same for the manager, as Walter Smith went too. So the end of one great era and the start of another. In his place, the man handpicked by David Murray to lead the club into the new millennium, Dick Advocaat, a man whose style of management had earned him the nickname of the Little General.
Well, I had some reason to change from club, because first of all, I worked for a long time in Holland, and I got the opportunity to go to another country, and Glasgow Rangers was the first club who approached me. So the most important thing is that, again, I could work for a big club like the Rangers. Secondly, it was for me important to get a challenge again to build up a total new team.
His pedigree was well established at domestic and international level in Holland, having led PSV Eindhoven to a League and Cup double in 1996, and the national side to the quarter-finals of the World Cup in America in 1994. With virtually a whole new side to assemble to challenge for honours, the chairman once again demonstrated the great ambition of the club, investing millions of pounds in rebuilding the squad, and 8 new players immediately arrived in a flurry of transfer activity.
Well, we knew before that many players should leave the club, and that we have to start straight from the beginning, a total new squad. So many players were leaving the club, but also we have to bring many players back in. Yeah, most of the positions, I know how I wanted to play, so we tried to bring players in who can play on some position in the game. So we had some names, and again with the help of agents and Mr. Murray, but the most of the players I know for myself. Some players were possible to bring in, some players not. So the big problem was that we have to bring in players in a very short period, and yeah, sometimes you make some mistake as well.
I think the manager is the right person to join a team like Rangers, because when you have to change a lot of players, you need a man like him who knows which is the moment to join, or to enjoy, or the moment to work hard and to be a little bit hungry. I think it's not hard man, but I think it's man who we need here to set up everything and to make a good team.
When Dick Advocaat came here, well, we had to build a new squad, and well, they lost the championship last year, so the fans are desperate to take the league flag back home, and we knew that. And from the first day we got together, we said, well, we want to win the league back, and I think. For a team who just 1 year with each other, it's real good that we won the league, and we can only get stronger in the next years.
Yet there was an eerie sensation of déjà vu for Georges Alberts, Sergio Perini and Lorenzo Amoruso, the newly installed captain, as they took the field for the first league game of the season at Tynecastle. Despite the first of many Rod Wallace goals, Rangers went down 2-1, the exact score of the cup final the previous May.
Well, it was surprisingly after the game I said to the players, listen, we lost the first game, but I think the second half we played extremely good football, but we lost. That's possible, but I could see that the team has a lot of potential, and we showed that the next 17 games, to my opinion, and during the competition, we only lost, including the European competition, just 6 games, so I think it was an excellent result.
The defeat only served to galvanise the side, who then went on to that unbeaten 17-game run on 3 fronts. In the league starting against Motherwell at Ibrox, the League Cup, and in Europe. The players had quickly got it together.
Well, the most important thing is that you have an aim when you start by a new club. Then after that is the discipline, and the most important thing is hard working. With the talent they have, then you can get something out of them, and that is the beginning.
I think as a team we had a real difficult pre-season because many players came from the World Cup and some players were bought after 1 month. So I think there were only 12 players beginning in the season, and it takes always a while for a team to get used to each other. And the first game against Hearts, you could see there were no. There was not a team in the pitch. There were just 11 players, and the players didn't know the strong or the weak side of each other. And I don't know why, but I think after that game we get along real good. And from that moment on, we played quite some good games. And well, we're sitting here and we won the league.
It's just team spirit basically, getting everyone together as soon as possible and making sure everyone sticks together, and that's what he did, and it's shown over the year.
I think he's an outstanding coach, and he likes that the team is take responsible for their own job as well, and I think there is nothing wrong with it. I used to have that in Germany as well, but if the time is there, you have good fun with Dick Advocaat as well, but you have to separate that. Your job is your job, and if you do your good job, so you can have fun afterwards, and that's the way he's working.
Instrumental in that run was Lionel Charbonnier, the flamboyant French international goalkeeper, who arrived in the middle of August from Auxerre. Just 5 minutes from Ibrox is the kind of place which makes Lionel Charbonnier feel very much at home. It's the first visit to one of Glasgow's great treasures for the Frenchman with a passion for his art, whether it be between the sticks or with his brushes and canvas. As an internationally renowned artist whose abstract landscapes hang in various galleries around Europe, he's pleasantly surprised at what's on offer at the Burrell collection.
Oh, it's very great. I can imagine there was some paintings like that here, and I don't know why, but I never think about you can see a Cézanne or Sisley or Millet or some French pictures, and they have a very great collection. Yeah.
At 32, Lionel has built a life of many parts, all of them driven by a passion for living. At home in Auxerre, he and his wife Anna run an equestrian training centre with 34 horses to breed, train and race. His life here is a totally different experience, but one which adds to the overall picture.
It is absolutely the opposite. This is, I can have 2 lives, and this is maybe my second life. I have one life in France with horses, with in the countryside, and in a big park, and with no neighbors. And in Glasgow, I live in the city centre with in a small flat. But I'm like that. My life is very, very large.
And that large life has made the football part of it easier to accomplish.
I don't care about the other players. You know, when you have a player who comes in front of you, it's a man. It can be Pelé or Maradona or Ronaldo. I don't care. It's a man. He had 2 feet, 1 head, like me, and it's why I have a lot of things out of football. You understand? Because paintings and horses help me to. I don't think, when I think about my horses and about my paintings, I don't think about football. And it's why I have a lot of things near the football. And this is my life. I need to have horses and paintings to play football. If I have not, then I can't play football.
Unfortunately for Lionel, playing football in the treble season was restricted to a dozen league games and the European campaign up until his injury against Leverkusen. He'd quickly settled in at Ibrox, with the supporters revelling in his committed displays for the club.
I said to my wife when I arrived in Glasgow, I said to her, I need maybe 6 months to have the fans with me, behind me, like I have in France with Auxerre or everywhere when I play in France. I have never trouble with the fans and with the other team. But I said I need 6 months for the fans to be great with them. And after 2 months, I heard the national anthem. You understand? And it was very, very great for me because I never expected that. And when I heard that, only one man has that in another country. It's Eric Cantona, and to be the second like that, it was wonderful for me. Yeah.
But then came that awful moment against Leverkusen. Although Rangers won on aggregate, he lost, suffering the injury which put him out for the season. But it's failed to dampen his optimism.
You can think, and it was, I thought, when I played the first game against Leverkusen, in Leverkusen, Rangers can win a European Cup. After that game, I phoned to my father, I said, oh, Papa, I never played with a team who played like that in European Cup. Auxerre, we done very well in European Cup. We went in semi-final, and we beat Ajax Amsterdam, great team, great team, but we never play like Rangers play against Leverkusen, and that means it was a very, very important thing for the future. And where I lose against Leverkusen, it's because I don't play the next game. But I'm sure Rangers will make some things very great in Champions League because nobody waits Rangers because they think Rangers is a small team, Scottish Championships is not very good, and if everybody thinks like that, it's better for us. And because I know Rangers is a very, very good team with all the fans, I'm sure in Ibrox you can win against everybody.
Little in football is certain these days, but as Lionel Charbonnier fights his way back to fitness and future glory, he'll approach that the same way as everything else in his life, with a passion. As one flamboyant Frenchman temporarily departed the scene, another more introverted one arrived, with the signing of World Cup striker Stéphane Guivarc'h for £3.5 million from Newcastle, where he'd been given little chance by their new manager Ruud Gullit. Without doubt, one of the greatest achievements of the season was overcoming Bayern Leverkusen, one of the top sides in the Bundesliga. Who can forget that scintillating moment in October in Germany, when the opposition were turned inside out with a goal comparable to any in the UEFA Cup.
Roberto dazwischen. Da ist es!
Before, a couple of days before the game, the manager had been saying I'm 15 million and that, but the gaffer had said to me that's just all talk, just to put a wee bit of pressure on me. But I didn't really read the papers or anything, you know what I mean? I just went into the game just to try my best. And obviously everybody was talking about that turn, but I can't really remind much about it. It's just one of the things you do in the game, you know what I mean? So when I slipped the ball through to Giovanni and he finished.
An explosive return leg on Guy Fawkes night ignited an incredible sequence of events in November. Just 4 days later, St Johnstone were demolished in Rangers' biggest win of the season, notching up 7 at McDermott Park, including a brace for Givash, who'd come off the bench for his debut, and a superb strike from Andrej Kanchelskis, only his second league goal, and both had been against the Perth side. Aberdeen were seen off the following Saturday, before the biggest shock of the season occurred at Celtic Park. Scott Wilson was sent off with barely half an hour gone, and despite battling on with 10 men and a fabulous strike by Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Rangers went down 5-1 in a record Premier League defeat from their fiercest rivals. It was a result which brought home the importance of the fixture to all the new players. However, revenge, as they say, is sweet. Yet just 3 nights later, a packed Ibrox once again witnessed the European pedigree of the new Rangers when they came from a goal behind to secure a 1-1 draw with Parma. The Italians, who went on to win the UEFA Cup, were on the rack for almost the whole of the second half, with Rangers unlucky not to add to Rod Wallace's equaliser. But there was still more to come. On the final Sunday of the month, the previous barren year was redressed with the first silverware of the new campaign. St Johnstone were the victims for the second time in a month, Rangers triumphing 2-1. It may not have been a vintage performance, but it showed the resolve of a Rangers side which had played 27 games prior to the final.
Well, it was very important because we all worked so hard by this club to get the result. The whole stuff around the manager and the players, and again, after so many changes what we have had in the beginning, it was a massive result from the club, and we were very happy, and that helps a little bit to go on the way what we start.
So the season was going along quite nicely, with silverware back in Ibrox Trophy Cabaret and the side sitting proudly at the top of the league, 4 points clear of rival Celtic. Right on the heels of that 17-game unbeaten sequence was the toughest challenge of the year so far, taking on the UEFA Cup favourites Parma in their own backyard for a place in the quarter-finals. One apiece after the first leg at Ibrox, Rangers knew a goal would have to be scored in Italy. And the hammer duly obliged with a precise strike after the Italians' much vaunted rearguard slipped up under pressure.
My head was in position and tried to take us, and just on the halfway line I caught the ball. I saw where he wanted to play it and I caught it, and I just ran. The boy was behind me, chasing me, and I just thought, keep on going and score. That's the only thing you have in your mind. And after I shot and I saw the goal, the ball wasn't the goal, I was just delighted.
But it all went horribly pear-shaped after that. Sergio Perini was red-carded and the Italians scored 3 in the second half. So the European dream was over. but only after a run that showed Rangers can live with the very best. And next season, it's a quite mouth-watering prospect of Champions League action at Ibrox.
Well, the expectation is here always very high. Domestically, that's normal, but also European-wise. We did an excellent job in Europe, but it is important for Rangers that, or for Scottish football, that we come far, because even we did well in Europe, we still have to play three qualification games to come in the Champions League. So there's still a long way to go.
We did a good run in Europe. Don't forget we beat Bayer Leverkusen, we beat PAOK of Salonico, and that's a really hard game for us. We lost against Parma, but I think Rangers shows in Europe, in Italy as well, a good football. And a lot of newspaper and some of my friends as well, they called me back and said, "Oh, Lorenzo, you have got a really good team." This team, I think, is young and can get better, I think, next season. Also because we have got one more year of experience, and that can be okay for us.
We showed this year that we could cope with the best teams in Europe. We played against Leverkusen, we won quite confident. And against Parma we did quite well. And we only lost one game out of 10, so I hope we can do that next year again.
In fact, the 3-1 defeat in Parma was the only one in an 18-game run up to the only home defeat of the season against Dundee United in late March. During that period was the first midwinter shutdown in Scottish football history, preceded by a passionate and vibrant Old Firm New Year clash, which left Rangers 4 points clear of Kilmarnock at the top of the table and 10 clear of Celtic. And then it was off to the sunshine of Florida. Ideal conditions for hard training and some much needed rest, and a relaxed atmosphere for the squad to get together.
Very important, not only for me, but for especially for the squad, because it was a very demanding first half of the season with the the European matches with the pressure to get the champion again. So now we all need it, and the result was that the second half we start excellent, and I think that has also something to do with the break.
Florida has been a good time for us because we have the time for restart again the season, to relax 5 days, 6 days, and start a hard training in America with the good weather, especially because sometimes in Scotland you can do the training who the manager would you like, but in Florida, because the pitch in here sometimes is very heavy. In Florida the weather was very good, and we did a good session of training there for 10 days, and I think that has been the real key to set up everything and to start again the season very well.
Two of the players getting to know their new teammates were Stefan Klos and Neil McCann, who both joined in December. Stefan played his part in winning the treble, particularly in the cup final, with some outstanding saves.
Stefan Klos keeps Rangers on course for the cup.
But it was McCann, who came from Hearts in a £1.6 million deal, who proved pound for pound the best Christmas present Rangers could have received, adding a new dimension to the attack with his brilliant wing play and goal scoring. And who could have guessed a place he was about to book in Rangers' long and illustrious history?
It was a dream move for any player to come to Glasgow Rangers, so I was delighted when I knew that the manager was interested in signing me, and it's went on and on since I've signed. Things have just got better and better.
It had taken over 6 months to get the player, after the manager on a visit to Ibrox at the tail end of the previous season had seen Neil score against Rangers for Hearts.
Well, when I spoke to the manager, when I signed, they'd said that he'd seen me in that game, scored for Hearts, and it gives you your self-confidence a big boost when somebody the calibre of the manager keeps an eye on you and wants you in his side. So it was great for my self-belief as well.
Domestically, it was an excellent move, because for us it was important that we can change a little bit the system. Because on the left side we played with from Bronkhorst and George Alberts. Both are a little bit similar players who like the ball in the foot. Again, is a player with space, and I think that was a big advantage for us.
With the teams I've played for before, there was always a lot of foreigners in those sides, so I knew kind of what to expect in that. But I soon got into the way of things, as I say, quite quickly with a couple of boys that I knew, like Derek McInnes and that, Ian Ferguson, Barry. They kind of brought me into it. In training, right from the first training session, there was a wee bit of banter about different things and that kind of helped break the ice.
Yvon's trying to touch, has gone side, in goes McCann. McCann goes in across there, Wallace makes it 2, Rangers 2 up.
Rangers roared back from the winter break, scoring goals as if they were going out of fashion. 28 were netted in 6 games in the League and Cup, with 5 of the matches away from home. One incredible fortnight in February summed it all up. First, the St Valentine's Day massacre, a 6-0 Tennant Scottish Cup murder of poor Hamilton Accies that saw both McCann and Tony Wiedmar score their first goals for the club.
It drops off his head and in, and that's 3-0 Rangers. Kanchelskis. Now McCann for number 6. Emphatic for Rangers.
Then Dundee were devastated 6-1 in the league, thanks to a George Alberts hat-trick and a stunning effort from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. And title-challenging Kilmarnock were humiliated 5-0 on their own turf. This time it was top scorer Rod Wallace who weighed in with the treble.
There's a good run there. Wiedmar suddenly popping up. Must be the hat-trick. No, yes! Well, a little bit of a ricochet.
17 goals in 3 games. Rangers sent out a warning to the rest that said, catch us if you can.
Pace, still going, oh, what a goal! Oh, he kept his head brilliantly, and that is almost a replica of the kind of goal he scored against.
Well, the first one at Hamilton was good for myself, because as a player you're always wanting to score, and I knew that when I got my first one then other goals would follow, and I went on a wee run after that. I think my first goal at Ibrox was great. To actually score in front of your own fans is always very special. And scoring against my club Dundee as well.
Now it's a Mato.
The goal against Dundee, well, for me personally, was the best goal I made this season.
And Van Bronckhorst!
Just from the moment it went from my feet, I knew it's going to be in the top corner. It's just one of those shots when you know, well, this is going to be a goal definitely. And then, well, when I hit the ball and I saw the ball straight in the corner and just saw the keeper flying to it, but just couldn't reach it. So for me, it was the best goal I made this season.
The team played very well that day, and I think the nicest goal for me at that day was when Neil McCann had a nice chip towards me. It was a beautiful goal and a beautiful play to the goal, and I was quite happy because it's my first hat-trick ever. So hopefully there come a few more for Rangers and myself.
Rangers were now 10 points clear. Every peak, though, brings a trough in its wake. And the first sign of nerves showed with a home defeat by Dundee United and another away to St Johnstone the following week. The first time for 5 years that back-to-back losses had been accumulated.
I knew that sometimes the bad period is always behind the angle, because every season you have to feel something wrong in your team. It's normal. I think it's football, it's life. And in fact, we lost a couple of games against Dundee United at home and St Johnstone away. But also during that game, what we lose, I think the team was good. We didn't score a goal because we missed a lot of chances. But the performance of the team was not perfect, but was good, because the team was working really hard, but we didn't took any points from that result. But you know, I always said to the guys, the players, keep on going, boys, work hard, because if you work hard, in the end you can think something good. And that was the way what we did in that period, and I think that's been good for us.
However, more hard work on the training pitch and the 1.2 million signing of the American World Cup captain Claudio Reyna from Bundesliga side Wolfsburg steadied the ship as the final push for the championship began. After St Johnstone were dispatched 4-0 in the Scottish Cup semi-final, this goal from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst secured a midweek win over Dunfermline at Ibrox. And the following Sunday, Tony Wiedmar's second goal of the season brought a share of the points back from Dens Park.
And Rangers have equalised right at the start of the second half. Dundee's dogged defence finally breached by Tony Wiedmar.
But it was 1 week later against Aberdeen at a packed Ibrox that the title drew that little bit closer. St Johnstone had beaten Celtic the previous day and anticipation was high. Bathed in glorious sunshine, the supporters created a party atmosphere with the now famous Rangers karaoke.
Rangers trail 1-0. Amato with a big chance to get them level here. He takes it. McInnes spreads it neatly to Kanchelskis. 4 in the box for Rangers. Kanchelskis goes alone and scores! Warner is beaten, and Kanchelskis, who's been a real menace to Aberdeen all season, does it again. Here's Amato. Rangers suddenly springing on the counter-attack. It's Wallace! It's number 3!
So the picture was clear. The championship could be won against Celtic on their home turf for the first time in Rangers history. If motivation were ever needed, this was it in spadefuls. But as you might expect by a squad managed by Dick Advocaat, everything was in perspective.
No, I don't think that that the need was there. Everybody knew before we lost the game there. The last game was 5-1. And if you have pride in your body, then you know what you have to do. Most important thing in that game, because we could be the champion there, that we control our emotions. And I was very proud of everybody around Rangers, not only the players but also the fans, the behavior of our club, and that's the reason that we beat Celtic there.
Oh, I knew it was a massive game for the supporters as well as everyone else involved. It was just a matter of being professional and making sure we got the right result for Rangers, and we got the win at the end of the day, and it was a great result for us.
Well, every player was really involved in that game. Also, who didn't play, who was at home, who was injury. Everybody in the dressing room was really ready to make a big game. But I think the team has been always quiet. It's been always concentrated. It's been always ready to go on the pitch and to show himself on the best he can do. And that's why I think on the pitch there was just one team, Rangers, because we went on the pitch against almost 60,000 Celtic fans, and we tried to play football all the time. We are being nervous, apart Rod Wallace in the end of the game, but we showed on the pitch we want to win that league and that game, because I think the way what we played, I think, was very brilliant, and I think everybody watching the television that game, and everybody can say Rangers are champion now in Scotland because they are the better team this season.
I think it was just normal as a normal game. I think we went to Glen Eagles to sleep there, and well, the atmosphere was quite relaxed, and well, just before the game we said to each other, well, this is our moment, and this is the first time the Rangers can be champions in Celtic Park, and we can make history. And everybody said, well, let's do this.
So the stage was set. In a gladiatorial atmosphere, Rangers controlled themselves and the match. The rest, as they say, is history.
And Bronkhorst slides it through here to Rod Wallace, and it's in from McCann, and Rangers have the lead. And are they edging towards the title? Neil McCann is buried underneath his celebrating teammates.
Yeah, it all came from a good early ball from George Alberts. Rod Wallace wanted it in behind and got it, and nobody picked up Neil McCann at the front post. And although he's stretching, it's well controlled. All he's trying to do is get it on target, and nobody picked up McCann's run to the front post there. A well-worked move by Rangers, and a good finish from Neil McCann, who looks as sharp as a tack tonight.
Side-footed into the corner, and Rangers are closing in on the new Scottish Premier League trophy.
Yeah, the perfect penalty there from George Alberts. Went for precision this time and just knocked it inside the left-hand post. Fine penalty. Stuart Kerr guessing the wrong way.
Neil McCann. McCann is through here. He's past the keeper, and Neil McCann has clinched the championship for Rangers. It's 3-0. It's the magnificent McCann.
Yeah, his pace really has destroyed Celtic at times tonight. And I think it's Scott Marshall who was caught on the wrong side of him here. The ball's played through. Scott Marshall tries to win it, caught on the wrong side. McCann's quick enough to knock it past Kerr and roll the ball into the net. Still a fair bit of work for him to do here as Stuart Kerr came out to close him down. And he handled it beautifully. Celtic just caught short here at the back. Scott Marshall gambled, tried to win it in front of Neil McCann, was caught. backhand in well.
Delight for Dick. It's the full-time whistle. Rangers are champions of Scotland. They've reclaimed the title from Celtic, and just to rub it in, their crowning moment comes on the ground of their fierce rivals. Rangers' 100th league victory over Celtic has made them champions for the 48th time.
Well, it was not only Bert and myself, it was Tommy Miller-Nielsen, it was John Quaig, it was Douglas Odom, it was Campbell Ogilvie. All the people around the first team worked so hard to get the result. The people outside Rangers doesn't realize that, but we all worked so hard to get this result. So yeah, it was an explosion for us, and we were all, still are, very happy and proud.
We were always focused on winning the championship first and foremost. Didn't matter where we did it, but obviously the Celtic game gave it that wee bit of extra edge. To actually do it there, you could see what it meant to everybody. And for myself personally to score the first and then the clincher, it was an unbelievable feeling. It's something that I'll remember for a long time.
Glasgow Rangers Football Club to me is possibly the biggest club in Britain. I'm a Rangers fan, and it's a situation that you've got to be very professional in. And I think on the day at Parkhead we did conduct ourselves very well indeed, and to win the game as emphatically as we did in the way we played, I think was testament to how good a side we are, you know.
And the party continued into the night. Back at Ibrox, a crowd of 4,000 gathered to pay tribute to their heroes, and they weren't disappointed as the players expressed their thanks for the fan support.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, we came back here with Jimmy Bell, the kit man. He brought the coach in at the Broomloan Road end, and we got off the coach, lined up right along the pitch and ran towards the fans at the other end, and it was a great night.
It was a great day for us as well. For me personally, although I got sent off, it didn't dampen it at the end of the day. I think the game was already won by then, so it was a great day for us, and we had a few drinks after. It was good. I couldn't believe it when we was coming back. Everyone was saying that there's going to be people at the ground and everything. I said, oh, that'd be good. And when I came here, it was brilliant. Yeah, there was loads of people there. So I was well pleased with the way they came over for us.
Well, I think after the game the team was very tired. It was a very hard game, and everybody has to calm down and settle down first of all. And we knew another 3 games to play. So instead of celebrating, we get focused on the other stuff again.
7 days later, in full view of the nation, Lorenzo Amoruso led his team back onto the park after the match against Hearts to accept the first Bank of Scotland Premier League Championship trophy, and Ibrox erupted.
Yes, it was my first championship, and I think the atmosphere yesterday was tremendous. And well, if you see how the fans react to the league, and it was fantastic. And obviously we brought a lot of joy to the fans, and that's always nice when you can do that. When everything goes well, the manager is always satisfied, and I think we gave him a lot of times when he could be satisfied about the team, and so I think that's the main thing for a player to do, to let the manager be proud of his team, and I think we did that this year.
It was fantastic. I actually heard my name being sung for the Rangers fans for the first time, and that was quite special. It was great to hear them singing. To win the championship, I'm still only 24, that's me get a Scottish Cup winners medal and a championship medal, and hopefully I'm not finished yet, but yesterday was magnificent.
As the euphoria of winning the championship settled, Lorenzo Amoruso took time out to talk in depth about his sensational first season as captain of Rangers Football Club, the responsibilities that go with the job, and his hopes for the future. Lorenzo and his girlfriend Christina arrive at their sports club on a much appreciated day off for the club captain. It gives him time to relax and reflect on the intense pressure he's faced at the start of the new Rangers era. Signed the previous season for $4 million from Fiorentina, where he'd played 75 league games in Serie A, Lorenzo was plagued by injuries, which restricted his starts in the team. Even in this campaign, it took some time for him to reach the standards he expects of himself. But now everyone knows why the investment was made in the first place. And with the frustrations over, he's enjoying his life in Scotland, both on and off the pitch.
In Glasgow, in Scotland, there are a lot of things you can say, especially cathedrals, especially castles, and also it's nice for people like me and Christina who like to go on the woods, sometimes on the park, to have a nice walk, you know, and that's important because it's a country where you can, when the weather is good, you can go around and walk and visit something, you know.
And just how important is it to you to have Christina with you?
It's very important, but I don't think it's just my case, how the wife or the girlfriend is important. I think it's the case of all players, and that's my opinion, but I think also a lot of players, they can have the same opinion because, you know, during the season you can have good period, bad period, and the wife and the girlfriend always are with you on the same house, the same bed, and the same place where you live, and they can help you a lot of times, and that's very important for a player who has to leave his country and maybe to go in another country and maybe set up everything. I think it's very important to start the adventure with a girlfriend or wife as well.
As captain of Rangers, Lorenzo has responsibilities. Firstly, to lead the team on the park, but also to be an ambassador for the club.
To be a Ranger captain, it's very important. It's proud of me to do that. But I think the people want to talk always football, football, football. That is good, but sometimes the people has to understand also that you want to talk maybe, I don't know, something else, you know, food, or maybe the dress in Scotland, or, you know, some place, you know. But sometimes you can do with some people. Some other times you can't do, but that's not important because I think to talk with the people, or to sign autograph, or make a picture is part of my job.
Lorenzo was chosen by Dick Advocaat to skipper the side. There are a couple of factors which a big Italian attributes to the decision.
I can say, I think, because I have strong character, because I want always to win during the training as well. And maybe because I think sometimes you need a good future for to set up your team. I think I was one of the players who has got more year of contract with Rangers, and that I think was the reason why the new manager gave to me the hairband. The character is very strong, I think, because we are young, I told you, but we always we want to improve ourselves, and always we want to follow the suggestion of the manager. That is important, because if you want to become a good team, not just in Scotland, but also in Europe, I think you have to follow the suggestion of manager, and also you have to win, and you have to improve yourself all the time.
The captain has a special responsibility to make the squad as happy and as focused as possible, and it's clear the players respond to his leadership. There's a camaraderie around the squad which many people doubted could exist following the departure of so many well-known faces. But the new men have a collective appetite for the challenges ahead.
Well, I think apart 3-4 players in this team, not a lot of players they played in Champions League, will be a great experience, but we are always ready to make a big fight with the other teams, especially in the beginning of the season, next season, because we have to play the pre-qualification to go in Champions League. But everybody, I think, are ready to fight for that place in Champions League, because will be a great feeling, will be great sensation to be in the paradise of football in the world.
And leading them in the European adventure will be Lorenzo. There's only one, Amoruso. But the season was far from over, with the Scottish Cup final to look forward to on the last Saturday in May. The new Hampden Park played host to its first game, and it was fitting that the occasion was the biggest of all, a final featuring the Old Firm. For Rangers, the treble was in sight, and the opportunity to make Celtic's season a barren one.
Is snapped in, and what Wallace might just get to this, you know. He has done. Wallace is in. Oh, and Jonathan Gould just managed to get his hands on it. Here's Larsson meantime. A horrible bouncing ball for Rangers. And Larsson almost capitalised. Mjällby. Step D'Amato for Rangers. And Bronkhorst. Vidmar. It went away from Wallace, but it comes back to him! And Rangers are in front in the Scottish Cup final! And it's Ron Wallace! Cross. Stubbs didn't make much contact, but here's Big Horse! Splendid save from Stefan Cross. Big Horse. And it came back to Stubbs. Second chance. Stefan Cross keeps Rangers on course for the cup. Big Horse. All Cross has flapped a little. Stubbs is there. Lambert. Was that handball from Amoruso? Hugh Dallas has a look and says no. Lambert to Mjällby. There's no time for anything fancy now. That's what you've got to do. Get it up there. Tommy Johnson. Away by Amoruso. Hugh Dallas has checked his watch. Here's Van Bronckhorst. It's all over! Last season they were left with nothing. This season they have everything. It's a tremendous treble for Dick Advocaat's new look Rangers team. And it really doesn't get much better than this. Ron Wallace the match winner. It's time for Rangers to bounce up these steps. Lorenzo Amoruso is about to show the watching world that Rangers have won the Scottish Cup and the treble.
Later, the players mingled with friends and family at the reception at Ibrox. Ian Ferguson was finding it hard to believe he'd been involved in the match at all, and coming to terms with the fact he's the only player in the current squad who's savoured the treble twice. His first back in 1993-94.
Gaffer came to me and says he was taking me as a 15th man with the squad, and I was over the moon with that, just to be involved again after being out for 5.5 months, and to actually get on the subs bench I was over the moon. Just there's no words can describe how I felt when he named his team. They say football's a funny old game, and it is. You know, for being out so long, getting 15-20 minutes at the end was incredible. I can't put it into words. It's just unbelievable, especially when we were going for the treble. I keep saying it, mentioning I'm a wee boy for Parkhead, and to have 2 trebles with this great club is unbelievable.
The final words on the season's spectacular success come from the captain Lorenzo Amoruso and the architect of the campaign Dick Advocaat, who in his first season has joined the ranks of the great Rangers managers who've won the treble.
It's brilliant, you know, it's fantastic, because when you win, the feeling when you win it's brilliant, absolutely. Doesn't matter when you win, but if you win Scottish Cup, League and everything, it's brilliant, you know. More trophy you can have, more enjoy you can celebrate with your fans, with your family, with your friends, and with everybody who works for Rangers.
We all are very proud at the Rangers Football Club at the moment. We achieved so many prizes, and no, we're all happy. For all of us, special if you win the championship at Celtic Park, you beat them again in the cup final. It's a big achievement, and yeah, again, it is a special occasion for us as well. I think we have had the whole season, as you realize, when we started and we lost the first game, and almost from the third game on we were on the first place. After that we had an excellent run in Europe, and all the prizes came later on, so I think the commitment was there the whole season.
And the fantastic news for Rangers supporters is the determined Dutchman has pledged his future to the club for another 3 years.
Well, everything, it was important to show my commitment to the club as well after one excellent season, and we all know that we can't do it in one year. We all want to compete in Europe, but that takes more years than one, and hopefully we can do it within 4 years.